The 248th commencement of Brown University, which was convened on the grounds of the Meeting House of the First Baptist Church in America, will now continue. We will begin with the senior orations. The first oration, titled Storytelling, will be given by Jamel Watson Daniels.
What's good, 2016? Enslaved Blacks had a tradition of intentionally passing down oral stories from generation to generation. And in the same spirit, many Black scholars have paid close attention to the framing of our collective narrative around the world, the way our story is told. So today, let's think about what it means for us, class of 2016, to be critical of the way our story is told. How do we tell the story of our time at Brown to ourselves and to others? We need to be critical of the narratives that simplify what was our Brown experience. We need to focus in on the realities that could be erased by these simplifications. We need to be intentional about the stories we all carry with us. I recently heard someone with very good intentions, narrate my story. She saw me as a strong Black woman who managed to flawlessly commit to and obtain a degree in physics. She said, "There's just something so special about you." I wonder about the stories we tell, the pieces we erase with silence, and the pieces we carry with us. And while I am flattered that there may be people who see that as my story, I have to admit that that simplified version of my story erases way too much. It does not lead to an understanding of Brown's fundamental commitment to equality. That should be at the heart of my story. So let me tell you my Brown story as it really went down. I was just trying to feel at home. Now, that does not mean I wanted to make Brown resemble where I came from. See, I'm originally from a small town outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and the recipe for that home would be something like St. Louis plus rhythm and blues and some hip-hop music, plus loving people laughing really loudly, plus my mom cooking up some of the world's best macaroni and cheese. Shout out to my mama. But that is not what I mean by home. You see, I was just trying to figure out what it would mean for there to be space for me to just be myself and at the same time be an affirmed and valued member of the Brown community. What it would feel like for me to be included, meaning space has been made for a person like me and will continue to exist over time. My story began with my search for that, which makes me wonder about the stories I tell, the pieces I could erase with silence, and the pieces I need to be sure to carry with me. As a first year, I began gathering the tools I would need to feel at home. I knew I wanted to concentrate in physics, which meant I would spend most of my time going back and forth between Barris and Holly and the sciences library. And when I searched only within the physics department, I found that space had not been made for a Black woman like me. Not in the larger international community of physicists, and certainly not here. Fortunately, I did find a department that has made space for Black women, Africana Studies. And in that space is where I observed and learned what it looks like for a Black woman to be both affirmed and valued, meaning included, meaning space has been made for people like me and will continue to exist over time. So in order to successfully complete a physics degree here at Brown, I would need to combine that degree with Africana Studies. And any narrative that I tell about my career trajectory as I continue on in science must not erase this truth, even when it is not the story people sometimes try to tell for me. You see, I wonder about the stories we tell, the pieces we erase with silence, and the pieces we carry with us. Another aspect that tends to be erased when my story is oversimplified is the role of my family and community. Today, many of us become a part of the first generation in our families to complete a bachelor's degree. And this should not be erased from our stories. To our families and communities, thank you. Thank you for the legacies of courage and pride, the strength to push through when we wanted to give up, the bravery to fight even harder when told we should give up, and love, so much love when we could not find it here at Brown, and knowledge worth way more than any of our student loans. I don't want our families and communities to be left out of the stories we tell. You see, the truth about my story is that most of Brown had not made space for people like me when I arrived on this campus. And even the space that I and many of my peers here today have tried to make for ourselves is not guaranteed to continue on once we leave. For this reason, we have to be intentional about not erasing the pieces of our story that hold Brown accountable for being a home for all students alike. Mine is a story that aligns with our collective narratives as Brown students, students who spent the last few years learning about ourselves, but more importantly, about one another. Many of us, this year especially, have worked to make Brown a type of home for all. We've worked to get closer to the vision that people from many different backgrounds and communities deserve a dedicated space at Brown carved out just for them. When we look back at our time, class of 2016, I wonder about the stories we will tell. Will we erase the painful realities with silence, or will we carry with us the true stories? We should choose to carry with us stories that hold us accountable to our collective commitment to human equality. Class of 2016, let's be intentional about the story we tell. Let us disrupt and challenge our narratives that we might remain forever true. Thank you.
second oration, titled How Do We Want to Become, will be given by Sabrina Imbler.
In her book, The Argonauts, Maggie Nelson writes, "Evolution strikes me as infinitely more spiritually profound than Genesis. That is, how the process of becoming is far more important than any simple act of creation. This strikes me as especially relevant to our time at Brown. Right now, none of us has quite grown up, but we're also not kids anymore. We're drifting somewhere in between, unsure yet overconfident, always sleepy yet somehow limitless. So if you were to ask me now that eternal question, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wouldn't quite know what to say. In Greek mythology, a ship called the Argo was rebuilt each year until all of its parts had been replaced. This resulted in an entirely new ship, sailing under the same name. In this way, Brown reminds me of the Argo, how even though the students cycle through every 4 years, we can still come back to feel instantly and immeasurably at home. My 4 years at Brown have taught me to think critically, to interrogate, to unpack, and to deconstruct, but they haven't necessarily taught me to be anything. So instead of asking ourselves who we want to be, I wonder what answers we might get if we asked instead, how do we want to become? At Brown, we learn how to become. We learn that no one comes here fully formed, that we all have our baggage and memories of that time someone shamed us for doing something we loved. At Brown, we learn to become ourselves and more than ourselves. This becoming, I've realized, can't happen without the love we feel as a Brown community. This love means not only watching out for each other, but holding each other accountable. It's because of this fierce and profound love we all have for Brown that these past 4 years, we've asked Brown to become better. These have been 4 years of us trying to have our voices heard, of people calling us hypersensitive when we ask for trigger warnings and safe spaces. They say our dreams are the fruit of a naive idealism that is loud and reckless and unfamiliar with how the world works. But these have been 4 years in a world that, again and again, tells us that some people matter and that others do not. They look at our skin and our bodies, how we move and think and fall in love, and they tell us who is valuable and who is not. They send some of us to college and some of us to prison. This is no one person's fault. This is the world, and Brown is not impervious to the world. But we have spent these past 4 years proving that we, class of 2016, are a force to be reckoned with. These have been 4 years of remarkable resistance on campus. We spoke out when we read troubling articles in student publications. This was not, as some argued, to infringe on anyone's right to freedom of speech, but to defend our humanity. We saw patterns of oppression as we stood in solidarity with other colleges across the nation. We saw many things that were wrong, but mostly we saw how we could become better. These have also been 4 years of dreams. We entered heated discussions about the protests on campus that shook some of our friendships to the core. Then we built them back up again, stronger. Months of demands, protests, and solidarity resulted in the Diversity and Inclusion Action Plan. Last fall, I heard first-year students speak at a protest at the Van Wickle gates and felt a surge of both pride and shame. I was stunned by how much they already cared and was ashamed of my memory of myself as a first year. I was someone who spent most of her time eating onion rings at Joe's instead of reading about systems of hierarchy and oppression. Now as a senior, I've realized you can and should do both. Like many other first years, I came to Brown with little conception of how the world works, but I got better. I stopped talking and started listening. I listened to my professors, to Kate Shapira, who taught me that there must be an ethics and accountability to all that we write, from petitions to poetry, to Francoise Hamlin, who showed me how social change can be untidy, disappointing, and triumphant all at once, and to Ralph Rodriguez, who showed me that we are all beautiful for the simple and profound reason that we are born to make the world better. I listened to student activists and minority peer counselors and slam poets who pour their entire selves into helping us understand and care for each other so much more. There are always limits to what we know right now, but no limits to what we can learn or unlearn. I am the person I am today because Brown believed that I could become her. No one ever said becoming was easy. It's hard, so hard, to look at someone or something you love so much and see how it could become different, how it could become better. But it's precisely because of this love that we continue to protest, to hold sit-ins and teach-ins, to engage with people over coffee in office hours or even over Facebook, because we can imagine everything Brown could become. This is a place drenched in infinity, where we can become not only what we never dreamed possible, but also what we were always meant to be, where my peers can create an organization to empower first-generation students at schools like Brown, where we can travel to the United Nations climate talks in Paris and advocate for countries hardest hit by global warming, where I longed for a boyfriend for 3 years until suddenly and incandescently I fell in love with a girl. And just as we become our own selves within these gates, Brown too becomes something more because of us. Sometimes I wonder what I might have become if I hadn't come to Brown. It almost makes me want to cry, to think how different and small my life might have been without these 4 years together. It scares me how fiercely I love Brown, how even when the campus was ablaze, I never wanted to be anyplace else. It has been an unfathomable honor to learn, work, and become alongside all of you. Looking around right now at some of the best friends we've ever had, the orientation friends we never saw again after the ice cream social, and every beautiful soul we never got the chance to meet. When I look at all of you, I've never felt more in love. And to Brown, thank you for teaching us never simply to be, but rather showing us how to become. Congratulations, class of 2016.
Let's give one final round of applause to both of our student speakers. They were just terrific. Now, as Sabrina noted, our faculty are very important in the life of this university. In fact, I would say that no university is greater than its faculty. And at commencement, we recognize valued faculty in a variety of ways. Those who are new professors, associate professors, and senior lecturers, those who are retiring after distinguished service, and those who are being honored for exceptional teaching. So we will start with honoring new professors, associate professors, and senior lecturers. Dean McLaughlin.
The Board of Fellows has granted the degree of Master of Arts ad eundem to those professors, associate professors, and senior lecturers who hold no other Brown degree, to the end that their names may be carried upon the rolls of the university as honorary alumni.
Candidates for Masters of Arts ad eundem, please stand. Good. By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the Masters of Arts degree ad eundem, and I grant it to you all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree. Wherefore, in testimony of this fact, I will solemnly award these degrees to you after this ceremony. Thank you. Videte igitur ut probe integrequa in emolumentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum ut decet eos hoc gradu honoratos vos geratus. Thank you very much, Masters of Arts ad eundem. Now, I ask you to do something else, which is to applaud our faculty colleagues who are retiring this year and becoming professors emeriti. We salute you and we thank you for your many years of service. I will now call upon Dean McLaughlin to announce this year's Excellence in Teaching Awards.
Thank you. At a ceremony earlier this month, the Excellence in Teaching Awards were presented. The awards recognize Brown faculty members for sustained and continued excellence in undergraduate teaching in each of the 4 major areas of the curriculum: humanities, life, physical, and social sciences. I'd like now to recognize each awardee individually and ask them, those in attendance, to please stand and be applauded. The first teaching award is the John Rowe Workman Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Humanities. The awardee this year is Sarah Thomas, Assistant Professor of Hispanic Studies. The next award is the Elizabeth LeDuc Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Life Sciences. This year's awardee is Monica Linden. The next award is the Philip J. Bray Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Physical Sciences. This year's awardee is Bjorn Sandstede. Finally, the William G. McLaughlin Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Social Sciences. This year's awardee is Ethan Pollack, Associate Professor of History and Slavic Studies.
Candidoti honorandi nunc veniant. Now let the candidates for honorary degrees come forward.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa Cornelia Isabella Bargman.
Visionary scientist, incisive thinker, and leader by example, your research on the neural circuitry of worms has brought us closer than ever before to understanding the connections among genes, neurons, and behavioral output. Your landmark discoveries and your relentless curiosity about the human brain have won you prestigious accolades and positioned you as a role model for young scientists everywhere. Your belief in science as a community enterprise made you the perfect choice to co-direct the Advisory Committee for President Obama's BRAIN Initiative, which is directing funding to the most promising projects in neuroscience today. For your abundant contributions to science, education, and the advancement of human health through research, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa. So by the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts honoris causa Umberto Crenca.
Artist, performer, teacher, mentor, and civic leader, your belief in the power of art in all its forms has helped bring urban renewal to Providence and meaningful creative experiences to a range of community members, including the city's most vulnerable young people. In establishing AS 220 as a nonprofit, uncensored home for the arts, you created a model of equal opportunity, community engagement, and economic development. Your bold ideas and support have inspired others to articulate their own creative vision, and your advocacy of urban artistic partnerships has extended your influence beyond Providence to both a national and international audience. For your significant contributions to cultural growth in Providence, decades of service to artists and young people across the state, and the example you set as a boundary-pushing artist, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts honoris causa. By the virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma. I think we're done. Yeah, good. It's great.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa Angus Deaton.
Trailblazing analyst and Nobel laureate, your approach to studying measures of wealth and poverty, savings and consumption, health and happiness in a wide variety of settings has substantially increased the accuracy of the information upon which public policy is based and created a pathway for better understanding of crucial economic trends. Delving deeply into household surveys conducted around the world, you've illustrated the distinctions between individual behavior and aggregate behavior in order to define the mechanisms that either help or hinder economic development. Born of a strong conviction to reduce global poverty and ill health, your work has often focused on the economies of the poorest countries, and you have sought to include psychological factors into your assessments of overall well-being. For your insightful methods, your willingness to confront complexity, and the impact of your work on future economic policy, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters and all the rights and privileges pertaining to this degree. I give it to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Kevin Gover.
Proud member of the Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma, you have given of your time, talent, and intellect to improve the lives of Native Americans. As a lawyer focusing on Indian Affairs and Assistant Secretary for Indian Affairs at the U.S. Department of the Interior, you helped to protect the rights of various tribes, rebuild crumbling schools for Native children, and upgrade law enforcement on Indian lands. Now, as the director of the National Museum of the American Indian, you are challenging the mythology attached to the history of Native peoples and raising consciousness about the contributions that Native people have made and continue to make to our country and the world. For your consistent service to some of the most vulnerable populations in the Americas, your insistence that we examine and not be afraid of our collective history, and your drive to bring the truth about Native people's lives to a broader audience, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma. And please give Kevin Gover another round of applause for an outstanding address yesterday.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Antonia Hernandez.
A nationally recognized expert in civil rights, immigration issues, and philanthropy, your career has been marked by tireless advocacy for the Latino community and a steadfast commitment to expanding opportunities for those affected by poverty and discrimination. As president and CEO of the California Community Foundation, you work to empower social service organizations in the Los Angeles area and pursue important policy initiatives related to early education and immigrant integration. Your previous work as President and General Counsel of the Mexican American Legal Defense and Education Fund helped to eliminate damaging and unfair practices in school district financing, employment, voting, and access to public services. For your tenacity, your unwavering dedication to public service, and the inspiration you continue to provide for immigrants, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Jean Elizabeth Howard.
As a distinguished scholar, teacher, and administrator at Columbia and a loyal alumna of Brown, you have dedicated your professional life to the study of early modern literature, the history of drama, and the advancement of diversity within higher education. Widely recognized as an expert in the study of Shakespeare, your research and writings have provided greater insight into the socioeconomic and cultural conditions under which he shaped his representations of class and gender. You have served your students well, receiving multiple awards for teaching and mentoring, and you've set yourself apart as a skilled administrator through your direction of the Institute for Research on Women and Gender at Columbia, and as Columbia's first Vice Provost for Diversity Initiatives. We at Brown are fortunate to benefit from your service as a trustee emerita, an active member of our Advisory Council on Diversity, and a co-chair of the Pembroke Center Associates Council. For your exceptional commitment to the life of the mind, your drive to improve accessibility for young scholars, and your years of service to your alma mater, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Charles M. Rosenthal.
As a three-time trustee, a leader of the original Brown Parents Council, and a tireless champion of the university, your 30-year record of consistent service has had a tremendous impact on Brown's faculty and students. Steadily, and without seeking the limelight, you have provided valuable advice to the university's administrators, supported lectures, concerts, and internship opportunities to augment classroom learning, and exhibited exceptional generosity. Your contributions have forever changed the shape and trajectory of the university. For your willingness to share your talents with the Brown community and your desire to make a difference in the lives of generations of Brown students, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you this diploma.
Madam President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Medical Science, honoris causa, Thomas G. Katina. His parents, Jean and Nancy, will now join you on the stage.
Brown University usually requires recipients of honorary degrees to be present in order to receive the degree, and only very rare exceptions are made. Tom Katina is an exception. Tom is a Brown graduate, and for some years he's been living in Sudan running a medical clinic in the middle of a war zone. He wanted to be here today. It's his reunion year, but he couldn't get here. And we have a little bit of a recording that we're going to show. We hope to get him in on Skype, but the links aren't working right. So I'll first award his degree, and then we'll hear a little bit of a recording from Tom so you can get a sense of the kind of person he is. Here's the citation. Your life's work has been defined by deep compassion and a singular devotion to providing care for victims of war and deprivation in Kenya and southern Sudan. With little regard for your own safety, you helped establish Mother of Mercy Hospital in Sudan's Nuba Mountains and became the only medical doctor at the only hospital in the entire region during a time of great national strife. Combining your medical skills, your ardent faith, and your calling to serve others, you've ensured the survival of thousands and begun the process of training your Nuba colleagues to eventually provide high-level care to their neighbors. For your selflessness, your determination to leave no patient untreated, and your illustration of what it means to be a true humanitarian, we honor you with the degree of Doctor of Medical Science, honoris causa. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medical Science, and all rights and privileges pertaining to this degree I give to you. In witness of this, I collegially give you, via your parents, this diploma. After Tom, let's wait till we hear what Tom recorded. So I think we have a little clip that we're going to play, if the technology works.
Hello and good afternoon from the Nuba Mountains of Sudan. It's so wonderful to be with you all today via Skype. I first off want to say thank you to President Christina Paxson, the Board of Fellows and the Board of Regents for giving me this outstanding honor, an honorary degree. I know that you went way out of protocol and out of precedent to do this, and I greatly appreciate it. I'd like to accept this honorary degree on behalf of the people that I work for, and that is the people of the Nuba Mountains of Sudan. I also want to say hello to some people that I've heard are in the audience today. Dean Barrett Hazeltine, hi Dean. Coach Goldie, heard you're there today too, so hi Coach Goldie. Fellow members of the class of 1986, fellow members of the Brown football team, my parents, of course, my brothers and my sister, so hi to you folks all out there. For the class of 2016, I want to say congratulations, and it seems a very short 30 years ago when I was sitting where you are today, not having any idea what I wanted to do with my future. And all I knew was I didn't want to hear any more boring advice from people. So I want you to take courage and let you know things will work out okay. I don't want to give you so much advice today as I would as a challenge. And my challenge is this: I think everybody is in search of happiness. Everybody is in search of fulfillment. And I think if you really want fulfillment in this life, what I would suggest to you is you go and get rid of everything you have, sell everything you have, get rid of all of your baggage, and you go out and you live a life of full and total service to other people. I think if you do that, you will find the rewards are incredible. You will find that you have fulfillment more than you ever could have imagined. So I throw that challenge out to you. You are Brown graduates. You are the ones that are supposed to be doing different things, unusual things. Let the guys from Harvard and Yale go out and make $1 billion. You go out and make a difference in the world. You are the ones that people are counting on to go out and do these kind of things. So this is my challenge to you out there. So if one or two of you take me up on it, I'd be very happy. I know your parents won't be very happy because you won't be making any money. I know the Brown board will probably not be very happy because they won't get any donations from you, but I think that's okay. So once again, I want to say congratulations to everybody and stay ever true. Thank you.
Before we present the degrees to the graduating students, I ask that you all join me in recognizing Adrienne Deschamps, SCB, Sarah Overstreet, AB, Victor Yoon Chul Chang, BA, and Georgia St. Lawrence, PhD, whose lives were tragically cut short. These students were distinguished and honored members of this university and will always live in our hearts.
You guys look really great out there. Madam President, I have the honor to present the recipients of the degree of Bachelor Arts of Brown University. Ulabenga Joseph will accept his diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Videte igitur ut probe integraequa in emolumentum rei publicae et in Dei honora ut decet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. See to it therefore that you conduct yourselves properly and with integrity to the betterment of the Republic and to the honor of God, as befits those who are honored with this degree. Be seated, Bachelor of Arts. You were supposed to stand. Don't worry, you still have your diplomas. It worked. Thank you. Bachelor of Science, please stand.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science of Brown University. Lillian Dominguez will accept her diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Videte igitur uprobe integrequa in alimentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, udecet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Congratulations. Please be seated. Yes. Congratulations. Combined Bachelors of Arts and Bachelors of Science, please stand.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the recipients of the combined degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science of Brown University. Alex Joanne Flores Temena will accept this diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Videte igitur uprobe integrequa in emolumentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum udecet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Congratulations. Please be seated. Combined Bachelors of Arts and Bachelors of Science. Will Dean Peter Weber please come to the podium microphone?
Madam President, the master's degrees were conferred earlier at the graduate school ceremony on Pembroke Field. Alberto Morales will now accept his diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Masters in Arts in all disciplines, please stand. Where are my standing Masters of Arts? Over there? Where are they? Okay, whatever. There you go. Videte igitur uprobe integrequa in emolumentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, udecet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Congratulations. Masters in all disciplines, please be seated. Doctors of Medicine, please stand.
Madam President, the Doctor of Medicine degrees were conferred earlier at the medical school ceremony in the First Unitarian Church. Jovi and Yu will accept his diploma on behalf of the recipients of this degree.
Videte igitur uprobe integrequa in emolumentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, udecet eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Congratulations. Please be seated, Doctors of Medicine. Doctors of Philosophy, please stand.
Madam President, the Doctor of Philosophy degrees were conferred earlier at the graduate school ceremony on Ruth J. Simmons Quadrangle. Matthew James Liddon will accept his diploma on behalf of all the degree recipients.
Videte igitur uprobe integrequa in emolumentum rei publicae et in Dei honorum, ude eos hoc grado honoratos vos geratis. Congratulations, Doctors of Philosophy. Thank you. Doctors of Philosophy, please be seated.
Earlier, at the graduate school ceremony, the Horace Mann Medal was awarded to Sridhar Ramaswamy. who received his Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science at Brown in 1995. The award is given annually to a Brown Graduate School alumnus or alumna who has made significant contribution in his or her field inside or outside of academia. As Senior Vice President for Ads and Commerce at Google, Dr. Ramaswamy leads Google's advertising and commerce business, which encompasses search, advertising, display and video advertising, Google Shopping, Android Pay, and many more global platforms. Dr. Ramaswamy, would you please rise to be recognized?
I'd like to add one more recognition. The Brown University Corporation has a chancellor and vice chancellor who are very important parts of everything that they do. And this year we have a transition in leadership. Tom Tisch and Jerome Vassalero are stepping down after 9 years of service in these positions as chancellor and vice chancellor respectively. And I want to ask you to acknowledge all the work and all the wonderful things that they've done for Brown. Can you stand? Now, I ask that all parents and grandparents stand and be applauded. I ask that all students who are graduating magna cum laude stand and be applauded. And now I ask that all students graduating today stand and be applauded. We salute you, we congratulate you, and we are so, so proud of you. Now please continue standing and join me in singing the alma mater. The chaplain will now give the benediction, after which the 248th commencement exercises will be adjourned. The ceremonies at which the graduating seniors will receive their diplomas individually will be held directly following this program.
Hope ascends Brunonia as you rise. Anchor it always in the good. Claim joy, confer dignity. Study the faces of children. Find each day's occupation in the service of justice. even mercy. Fly safely from these gates, but return often. Dwell always in deep peace. Amen.